May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be free from harm. May all beings love life. May all beings awaken. Welcome to another Cuke audio podcast. I pray that you and yours are safe and comfortable, free from economic hardship, and able to get out and do whatever it is that you want within the limitations of the universal precept of do as little harm as possible. Now, it's Christmas Eve, and I had a guest, a former Shunryu Suzuki guest, all ready to put up. One Ruvain Ben-Ewan. Now, with another name that I will reveal next week when I put it up. So it's Christmas Eve, so I just thought I'd do something Christian. Now, last year I read from the Mystical Theology of Pseudo-Dionysus for Christmas Eve. But this year, all I'm going to do is read you some quotes from Meister Eckhart. This is not an in-depth presentation. I just Googled, Meister Eckhart quotes. I am not, as I said, an in-depth student of Meister Eckhart, but I have, I had a book of, his sermons and letters, and I really enjoyed reading it. To me, Christianity is just so poorly presented by the media. The media has really dumbed down the conversation on Christianity, and it's given it such a bad name. It's like the only thing it presents as a possibility for Christianity is like the most absolute literalism. Fundamentalism it's called, but to me it's not fundamental, it's superficial. And if you read somebody like Pseudo-Dionysus, who goes way back, like 3rd, 4th, 5th centuries, is an anonymous monk. And then you get a totally different idea. And, there's a number of Christian mystics who are really not literal at all. And there's plenty of present-day Christians that aren't. But media likes simple us versus them stuff, faith or science. How ridiculous. There's no conflict between science and actual religion that's not based on, action figure worship or something like that. So what is worship? Worship is that which is worthy of focusing on. So to Meister Eckhart, what was worthy of focusing on is the same thing that is worthy of all of us focusing on, and that is the immediate truth of this moment of mind. But anyway, I'll tell you one thing. My favorite Meister Eckhart quotes from just memory. As a Christian, he said, "Who is Jesus? He has no name." At another point, he says, Jesus is utterly divine mind. Now, that's from memory. So, that could be Pseudo-Dionysus, and I just think it's him. But he was greatly influenced by Pseudo-Dionysus, so if I'm wrong, it doesn't matter. But one thing I'm absolutely sure he said, and I love, at least in the translation, is he's talking about how to wake up, to reality. And he says, God, I wish I could find this. I don't have that book now. I guess I could get it and look for it, but, I have other things I'm doing. He says, so-and-so, this other priest, he was a Dominican. He was a Catholic Dominican priest in Germany. He said, so-and-so, this other priest near there says, this is the secret of, awakening or knowing God or whatever. He said, but I say even better, I want to find out what was the other guy said. Even better is know nothing, have nothing, want nothing. Now that is excellent advice. If one knows how to take it, this is talking about, this is spoken from the point of view of the absolute. This is from the point of view of the highest, most inclusive reality. To harmonize, to wake up to this reality, our mind must be still. It must be still to the point of it's devoid of knowing, wanting, having. It doesn't mean we don't know things, we don't want things, and we don't have things. That's relative reality. You're not going to get away from that. And I think trying too hard to get away from that is mixing up the teaching for the absolute with the teaching from the relative, which is much more practical. But, all right, so that's all I have to say about that. But now I'm just going to read you quotes. And this is Goodreads. So here we go. And I love this one, and I've mentioned it before and quoted it. It's pretty well known. If the only prayer you said was thank you, that would be enough. I first saw that in a cartoon or, comic. It's a well-known one. I'm not sure which one. I can't remember. All right, here we go. Here's another. This is pretty well-known. The eye through which I see God is the same eye through which God sees me. My eye and God's eye are one eye, one seeing, one knowing, one love. Now catch this one, you Shunryu Suzuki fans. Be willing to be a beginner every single morning. Here's another. And suddenly you know it's time to start something new and trust the magic of beginnings. Now that's very interesting. He says that. What that reminds me of is the Goethe quote, another German. It's you'll see it, and I've just got to do it off the top of my head, so it'll be an approximation. But actually, the translation from what Goethe said is also a creative approximation. So I don't know what Goethe really said, but I like what the translator did with it. It is, whatever you dream or whatever you would do, whatever you want to do, begin it. There is magic in boldness, and help comes from unseen places. Something like that. I love that quote. That's Goethe, or a liberal translation of something Goethe said. So Meister Eckhart said, and suddenly it's time to start something new and trust the magic of beginnings. Yeah, Edward Conze said in a class I was in, he said, if there's no magic, there's no religion. What is magic? Magic's just stuff happening. We don't understand where it came from or how it's happening. But personally, my life I just see it like magic coming out. I don't know. I just feel like I didn't do that. I didn't say that. I didn't write that. I didn't know that. I didn't know to do that. It just happened. And so our life is like magic in that sense. Our magic can be seen as something that is beyond our current consensus reality, something we don't understand. So, the first time people see maybe some people lived in a place where there wasn't anything reflective. They see a mirror and that's magic. All right. Here we go. Another quote from Meister Eckhart. Spirituality is not to be learned by flight from the world or by running away from things or by turning solitary and going apart from the world. Rather, we must learn an inner solitude wherever or with whomever we may be. We must learn to penetrate things and find God there. Shunryu Suzuki definitely would say things along those lines. He said if you want to develop a peaceful mind, do it in a noisy place. Do it in a place that isn't peaceful. Something like that. Here we go with Meister Eckhart again. Theologians may quarrel, but the mystics of the world speak the same language. Yeah, when I hear people say, I never liked this, how superior Zen is, how superior Soto Zen is, how superior Buddhism is to other religions. To me, that's theological, or that's from the point of, that's intellectual. Or they'll say, I hear that our type of Buddhism, they experience greater enlightenments, or, it's even higher than so-and-so. That's, don't buy crap like that. It's encouragement. Maybe you'll hear a great teacher say that, and they're encouraging you to focus on what they are doing, because you can't dabble around in a bunch of different practices and try this and that and this and that. You've got to, follow like one thing into the center like that. So they're trying to encourage you, but to say my way is the best way is the only way. That's just, anyway, maybe that's a good way to look at it while you're practicing. Put other thoughts out of your mind, but in terms of overall understanding of the way we relate to the world and other people and other religion and other ways, theologians may quarrel, but the mystics of the world speak the same language. So here's one. Nothing in all creation is so like God as stillness. Here's another one. Truly, it is in darkness that one finds the light. So when we are in sorrow, then this light is nearest of all to us. Yeah, it's like Copuccino is saying, pain in the legs is like, to the monk is like candy to a baby. Difficulty, sorrow, pain. This sort of reminds me, I think, of the quote, knowing that one's going to die soon or something like that, concentrates the mind wonderfully. And truly it is in the darkness that one finds the light. I remember John Terrence's book, The Light Inside the Darkness, The Light in the Dark. Here's another one. Wisdom consists in doing the next thing you have to do, doing it with your whole heart and finding delight in doing it. Now, isn't that a nice attitude? Finding delight in doing it. And that's like that. Now, he was Dominican. That's the Jesuits' motto, which I've quoted many, many times, is do what you're doing. Yeah, Ajay quotages. Wisdom consists in doing the next thing you have to do, doing it with your whole heart and finding delight in doing it. Wisdom consists in doing what you're doing. And it doesn't have to be doing something like working with a screwdriver. Like Wang Po said, stand when you're standing, sit when you're sitting, lie when you're lying down. He said, that's it. You do that, you'll wake up. All right, here's more Meister Eckhart. Some people prefer solitude. They say their peace of mind depends on this. Others say they would be better off in church. If you do well wherever you are. If you fail wherever you are. Your surroundings don't matter. God is with you everywhere, in the marketplace as well as in seclusion or in the church. If you look for nothing but God, nothing or no one can disturb you. God is not distracted by a multitude of things, nor can we be. Now, I never use the word God in, everyday discussion of my understanding of what reality is, which I have no understanding of. The word God has so much baggage, and it's just been the literal idea of God being a being that does things and is so drummed into us by media. Now, it wasn't by my family or at home, but the action figure God is the one that's the most popular. And as Pseudo-DNS has said, for those that can only see things in terms of individual being, it's just better just write them off. It's just don't even try to talk to them. Is it? They're too deep into it. But, of course, that was, we never give up on each other. Here's another one. I am as sure as I live that nothing is so near to me as God. God is nearer to me than I am to myself. My existence depends on the nearness and the presence of God. And again, he said, When the soul wants to experience something, she throws out an image in front of her and then steps into it. Whoa, that's far out, huh? Wow. Wow. There's a channeled being that's pretty powerful I've become aware of recently. I'm not following it, but was told about it by somebody who's involved with it. And it was asked, why are we here? Why is, why are we here on earth? What's this about? And it said, you have come here to feel. I thought that was a very interesting answer. Now, zazen and practice, of course, we find in the midst of feeling. But if we listen to what the masters say, you can find in the midst of it something beyond feeling. Something that includes feeling but is not feeling. There's no feeling. So when the soul wants to experience something, Meister Eckhart said, she throws out an image in front of her and then steps into it. She, what was it in the book of Tao? Or one early Taoist writing, Lao Tzu says, the only way to the Tao is through the mystic female. All right, now here we go. Love is as strong as death, as hard as hell. Death separates the soul from the body, but love separates all things from the soul. That's very interesting. And here, Meister Eckhart, the price of inaction is far greater than the cost of making a mistake. Now, that seems like pretty good practical advice, huh? That's very interesting. Here we go again. We are all meant to be mothers of God, for God is always needing to be born. Wow. And here, some people want to see God with their eyes as they see a cow, and have him as they love a cow for the milk and cheese and profit it brings them. This is how it is with people who love God for the sake of outward wealth and inward comfort. They do not rightly love God when they love him for their own advantage. What was it? Byron Katie said, somebody said, I can't believe in God because, there's so many terrible things have happened to me or happened around the world. And Byron Katie said, oh, so you'll believe in God, but only on your own terms. Da, 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 da. I read one place, Meister Eckhart said, I think he said, it might be somebody summarizing what he said the word God is the ultimate metaphor for that which cannot be spoken of. All right, here we are. There's a place in the soul where you've never been wounded. It's just, we never think of things in terms of the word soul, And we've got an idea that the Christian idea of soul is something sort of permanent, concrete almost, that's eternal or whatever, that is like an individual being. But again, let's see, well, maybe it's more like a metaphor for something that can't be described. I mean, in Buddhism, Buddhists talk about things like reincarnation like it was in the most fundamentalist way, like it was the sort of the way it is in movies or comic books. But if you really look at what Buddhism's saying about what there is that continues, it's only karma. There is nothing of any substance that continues but karma, cause and effect. People talk about karma. I hear Zen Buddhists who, say a lot of very good things, talk about karma and reincarnation in the most literal, fundamentalist ways. Those things can't be understood. And when we say cause and effect, this is what is here right now is a continuation of the intentional action of what was here before, something like that. But even that, personally, I think one of the greatest reliefs is stop trying to understand things. All right, here we are. A human being has so many skins inside, covering the depths of the heart. We know so many things, but we don't know ourselves. Why 30 or 40 skins or hides as thick and hard as an ox's or bear's covered the soul. Go into your own ground and learn to know yourself there. And here we are again. One must learn an inner solitude wherever one may be. One must not always think so much about what one should do, but rather what one should be. Our works do not ennoble us, but we must ennoble our works. I am what I wanted, and I want what I am. As Meister Eckhart, the tome of his sayings that were put into a book. The name of that book is I Am That. So I am what I wanted, and I want what I am. And Ramana Maharshi said, I am that I am is the ultimate spiritual statement. And that's from the Bible. To Advaita Vedanta Hinduism, that sense that one has of I am, I exist, is shared by all beings. And that diving into that, with the first koan, as far as I can see, the oldest koan in Hinduism, who am I, or what am I? Like diving into that sense of I-ness. What is it? And, of course, we know that religious practice, spiritual practice, it's about you can look at it from delving into the mystery of the self, the sense of self. And, of course, we know that Buddhism says Buddha said there's no self, or actually, he said you can't say there's a self, you can't say there's not a self. It depends on what you read, where. The three marks of existence are no self, suffering, and impermanence. Like impermanence, like everything changes. No self is like everything changes. and suffering as everything changes. We can look at it different ways. Now, here's an interesting one. My Lord told me a joke, and seeing him laugh has done more for me than any scriptures I will ever read. That's very interesting. I wonder what was going on for that. Makes me think of, God, what's that guy's name? Heifetz? There's Rumi and Heifetz. Is that his name? The Sufi poet talking about God being drunk in a tree. And he was a mystic. What did that mean? Huh? When I say he was a mystic, I mean he wasn't somebody who saw things literally, and to him, God was a being who would sit in a tree. So what did he mean? All right, here's another one. If I had a friend and loved him because of the benefits which this brought me and because of getting my own way, then it would not be my friend that I loved, but myself. I should love my friend on account of his own goodness and virtues, on account of all that he is in himself. Only if I love my friend in this way do I love him properly. Here we go. I need to be silent for a while. Worlds are forming in my heart. And all God wants of man is a peaceful heart. And God is not good, or else he could do better. And nobody at any time is cut off from God. And run into peace. Okay, I just read every one on that list. And that's my Christmas podcast. That's my Christmas present. And let's go back to the first one on the list. If the only prayer you said was thank you, that would be enough. That's my prayer. And that's Jodo Shin Buddhism. And I thank you for being here. And Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. This has been a Cuke Audio podcast. I'm DC Puba of Cuke Audio and Cuke Archives, coming to you from Sleepy Sinur with Doggett Bandita, Feline Cuchita, guest Doggett Bambita, and dear lovely Katrinka, back from Cuckoo Land. And we're wishing you and yours and all of us a grand awakening. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be free from harm. May all beings love life. May all beings awaken. Welcome to another Cuke Audio mini podcast. I pray that you and yours are safe and comfortable, free from economic hardship, and able to get out and do whatever it is you want within the limitations of the universal precept of do as little harm as possible. So today we have another vignette that's an outtake from Zen is Right Now, Teaching Stories and Anecdotes of Shunryu Suzuki. But first, I want to repeat the announcement I made yesterday, is that as of October 1st, I, DC, am going on a, we can call it a writing retreat, but it's more like a finishing a book retreat. So I got to concentrate on it. I'm just too strung out doing too many things. So, but we might do reruns, and just keep it coming. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe not. Or I might just come on now and then and do something, for a break. I don't know. But I really can't feel the pressure of having to do it 6 days a week. But I'll miss it because I enjoy doing it. All right. So this is another one from Mike Gilmore. I'm pretty sure. I haven't checked on it, but as I recall it is. Mike says, I remember kind of coming out of a little reverie during a Suzuki Roshi lecture and hearing him say, 1,000 lectures end in a poop. So it sounds like Mike was sitting there daydreaming during the lectures, and Suzuki said that. And Mike, it got through to him, and we went, what? 1,000 lectures end in a poop. Ha ha! Reminds me of Katagiri saying, going to a junior high school to give a talk on explaining to them what is Zen. And that's the way I remember it at junior high school, but maybe it was a high school. This junior high school seems a little bit early for that. But anyway, Katagiri was so far out, and he had he didn't know how to read the room with people who weren't at Zen Center. He just had no clue. I mean, really is what I would think. But he just started, he said, you think Zen is something? Well, one thing he didn't realize is they might not think anything about Zen. They might not know what the word means, but he had, he knew the people who came to Zen Center and those around him who had romantic ideas about what Zen was. So that's what he was addressing to this audience of kids. He said, you think Zen is something wonderful, something beautiful, this and that. All it is toilet paper. I said, it's toilet paper. And then afterwards, he said, on the way home, he said, I think maybe they didn't understand. Anyway, I guess Shunryu Suzuki was commenting philosophically on the futility of trying to do anything. But you keep trying, right? 1,000 lectures end in a poop. Well, it also reminds me of that T.S. Eliot's poem, The Hollow Men, which ends with, this is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. Not with a bang, but a whimper. Anyway, of course, it is up to each of us to contemplate and absorb the wisdom of Shunryu Suzuki saying, 1,000 lectures end in a poop. This has been a Cuke Audio podcast. I'm DC, Poobah of Cuke Audio and Cuke Archives, coming to you from Sleepy Sonora with Doggett Bandita, Feline Cuchita, and dear lovely Katrinka. And we're wishing you and yours and all of us a grand awakening.